And just like that, we are back at Marvelous Talk, and you have your usual suspects. Of course, you got Max. What's up, Max?
Not much, man. Doing good. Saturday morning show.
Man, Saturday morning early for you too, man. You on the West Coast. What time is it there?
About 8. We up. I'm up.
Woo! This was like Saturday morning cartoons for you, for real, for real,
Yeah,
for real, for real.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? I'm getting up like right around the time Soul Train would come on. Right around 10 o'clock.
Shout
At
out
that
the
point.
eternal Don Cornelius.
Yeah. At that time, I'd have missed He-Man and Plastic Man, but hey, I could go back. What up, Big G? How you doing, man? What's good?
Man, I'm just up early this morning, man, but I missed my Captain Crunches this morning, man. I've been getting down with them Captain Crunches and Crunch Berries since I was a little kid. And so it's not a official Saturday morning for me until I get my Captain Crunch Berries in, man. So as soon as we done, up I go out of the rabbit hole to the sink to get the Captain Crunch Berries.
Captain Crunch. All right. Okay. I thought you were
Hey,
like,
y'all can say what you want to, but that's a classic cereal, man.
man, more
That's
like
a
Captain
classic.
K, man. You more like Captain K, man, than
Nah,
Captain Crunch.
I legit,
Uh,
I hate cereal. I never eat it. I've eaten it like 10 times in my life. I can count the amount of times I ate cereal in my hand.
well,
That's how.
the gist of the matter is that I was lactose intolerant, but we're not going to talk about that. Hey, we like you guys that have been standing with us. Make sure that you like and subscribe to content, like and subscribe, so that when we go live, you'll get that bell and you'll be there ready for us and ready for the content. But before we jump into that, let's jump into this. And we ready, man. I mean, listen. So right now in the Marvel universe, we've got a couple of things that are getting ready and geared up, and we're getting ready to get off of the ground. Those things we have coming are I Am Groot and She-Hulk. Me and Max talked about this a little earlier, and we were definitely, kind of having a conversation about we were having conversation about what we thought about I Am Groot and She Hulk, but I'm interested to hear Big G's perspective. So we're gonna allow G to go ahead and get off on this one. Go ahead, G.
well, I think I am Groot is going to be strictly for the kids. I mean, it's a big, huge thing for the kids. The production of it is like cartoonish for this generation of kids. But I think it's going to tell a little backstory about Groot and how he transitions from the young teenager I am Groot to like the character that you'll see in the production of the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special as well as Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So it'll be for the kids. Will it be canon? I doubt it. But it's going to be cute for the kids and just continuing to build that brand for Marvel to the younger generation. So I love that aspect of that for I Am Groot.
So let me ask you
Um,
this. Let me ask you this with Groot.
uh,
Is it true that Groot is it true that Groot can control how fast he grows?
yes. From the comic book, Groot, to believe it or not, Groot is one of the 10 or maybe 15 most powerful non-gods in the Marvel comic book universe. Groot can do all kind of stuff. And I don't think as of this point the MCU has really explored Groot like to say like what his powers base and all whatever else is, but he can definitely control how fast he grows, and he can regenerate himself at any time, at any moment. So it's almost impossible to kill him. Groot's people is from the foundation of the Odin tree or the universal tree that you've seen in some of the MCU productions. They're from that same dimension or same realm. So the foundation of the Groot is from there. So Groot can do some amazing things. I think you're going to see some of it in Guardians 3 because I think you're going to see a rebel Groot that's going to be mad and upset about some bad things happening, and you're really going to see how powerful Groot actually is, in some capacity. So, but I think this, like I said, I think this episode of the show is going to give the kids-based stuff going on, to continue to build the brand. Now, She-Hulk, on the other hand, man, oh man, She-Hulk 9 episodes. I think you're going to get more cameos than you've ever seen in any Marvel production ever, as far as She-Hulk is concerned. I really do believe, honestly and wholeheartedly, that you'll get more cameos, more base characters, more introduction of characters or concepts of characters than you've seen in any Marvel production as of today. I mean, we've been talking about so far everything you've seen in Phase 4 of bridge material to take one thing and add it to another thing and add it to another thing and add it to another thing. And I think that the She-Hulk rendition of the 9 episodes is going to be base material that you're going to see build bridges to other universes. So I'm excited about She-Hulk, but not for like the other reasons like I would be excited for Wakanda Forever. I'm excited for She-Hulk because I know she's going to bring other characters. There's no doubt in my mind She-Hulk's going to end up an Avenger. There's no doubt, probably a West Coast Avenger. There's no doubt in my mind that we already seen a Matt Murdock Daredevil. So we already know he's got a spinoff show for 18 episodes coming off of this. But I'm interested to see how they build out other worlds because we know that they want her to be the ambassador for the project to control heroes.
My question,
or superpower people.
My question on that, Big G, and I have a 2-part question, and the second part's I'm gonna shoot to Max. But the first part is when you say bridge, you're talking about the characters that are gonna be introduced as a result of the She-Hulk series, correct?
Yes and no. So a bridge in just like the regular old world is you connect one side to the other. So this bridge for them is going to connect some of the Phase 3 things that we saw, the first 3 phases, and the new introduction of the stuff in Phase 4. But it's going to have a stronger connectivity to Phase 5, the completion of Phase 4, Phase 5, and then to Phase 6. So you'll get tiebacks and throwbacks to the first 3 phases of stuff, but you're going to get a lot of ties to Phase 5 and 6, if that makes sense as far as a bridge.
Okay. And Max, why do you think that, because everybody else, when we talk about series, right, 10, 11, 8, why is it that Daredevil got 18? Can you tell me why they gave Daredevil so many episodes, or in your opinion, why you think Daredevil got so many episodes?
I think one, he already has an established fan base, and he's the only Disney character that's going to have his own show. They had 3 seasons of 12 episodes that were an hour long on Netflix. So I think they're going to kind of use that to reset it. And Kevin Feige recently said Spider-Man and Daredevil are leading the street level heroes. So I wouldn't be surprised there's a Spider-Man cameo. There's definitely going to be some Kingpin, maybe some Echo. But overall, Daredevil has a pivotal role to play, especially coming from Netflix, coming from outside the MCU into the MCU. A character a lot of people were kind of upset when they canceled the show.
True.
Yeah.
True. Definitely.
Yeah.
G, what do you think? I mean, Max made a really good point, because he, street level character. He's about his business. You know what I'm saying? He's going to test some stuff up. Why do you think that they gave Daredevil 18 episodes, bro?
Well, because I think street level is the pivotal thing moving past Phase 5. Like, so Phase 4, we've got these introductions. Because if you look at all the new characters, the Phase 4 characters so far are street level, but they have some different dimensional realms, different fighting, and all whatever else going on. We already know in 2025, Kevin Feige's got full freedom to run the X-Men. So if he's going to run the X-Men, you're going to have street level stuff going on everywhere because X-Men are Earth-based heroes outside of Phoenix and the Shi'ar. Everything that's going on is the Earth. So they got to build the Earth-based characters out as well as building out this multiverse saga, as well as building out interdimensional and gods, so and the stars in a way. So I think that Daredevil is going to be the bridge to really build out Earth-based characters. Because it's New York's Hell's Kitchen. Everybody knows that. But Daredevil's been parts of different teams too. So will you see him maybe tied to the Midnight Suns? Could you possibly see him tied to the West Coast Avengers? I mean, I don't know. But there's going to be a lot going on in Daredevil. And so I think that's why they gave him 18 episodes.
So, all right. And I have a really more interesting question I've been waiting to ask you guys when we all got together. It's a real heartbreaker. Marvelous Talk Land, y'all about to get a gem. So we lost Iron Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We lost Black Widow.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
We lost Captain America.
Right.
These are all the first Avengers. Hawkeye is here, but he's not here. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
And, I mean, stop it, Max. Don't do it.
He's Hawkeye.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Y'all think we finna lose the Incredible Hulk?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Hulk in general is just too difficult a character to really base a movie on. He's just a helping piece. And if they can just get a Disney Plus show, if they get 3 good seasons out of She-Hulk and she's a big player in the Avengers, and I think that'll do well. I mean, the Hulk's just difficult because one, he breaks the code. He's a cheat code character. It's like, oh, how is Ultron actually stopping the Hulk? There's no way he could. There's no way that Loki should be able to stop the Hulk because he's that strong and powerful. Thanos was whooping his butt, but only because he had the Power Stone. So he just creates kind of a set of problems in the MCU.
I think that we do, but we don't. I agree with Max wholeheartedly about him being a cheat code and a problem as far as setting him up in a universe to understand his power structure. However, World War Hulk is too big of a project to kill the guy. And we already know World War Hulk is going down. You want to save Hulk too for like when Wolverine steps foot in the MCU. Because the battles that would go down between Wolverine and Hulk might be the most classic fights in MCU history. I mean, we're talking about two guys that can almost not die. And so I think you're going to see them save Hulk for World War Hulk project, because I think you're going to get a 616 Illuminati, and that's what the whole basis of the World War Hulk story is about. And so you'll see that. And then I think they're going to definitely save Hulk for Wolverine. They have to. So it's the most classic, iconic comic book in the history of comic books.
Max, before you chime in, I think they're going to kill him. His power level is way too heavy. You know what I'm saying? And I do think there's going to be a World War Hulk, but I think that's where they're going to kill him at.
But how do they even do a World War Hulk? I feel like that's just a what if at this point. That could literally be a 2-episode arc of what if, because I don't see how you do it. And then, does it? I mean, if they do it, it's going to change everything. He's going to kill like 15 characters.
Absolutely.
You don't really want to kill people yet. There's no one who's there to kill really other than Hawkeye that we're really okay losing right now. No one wants to lose these characters.
No. So if you introduce a whole bunch of off characters like you did in Captain America and or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, whole bunch of off characters, and you kill them all, it's not a problem. And I think that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a whole bunch of off characters be introduced, and once those off characters are introduced, they're going to off them. They're introducing them just to off them. And yeah, they're going to have to kill about 17 to 19 of them, but it's the Hulk. It's the Hulk. And I think for a time until we get to the end, We have to get him off the board. You know, I feel the same about in the Marvels. Brie Larson, they're gonna have to get her off the board. Power levels, they had to dumb down. They had to dumb down Captain Marvel's power level.
Hey, Big G.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Can you believe that Ma wants Brie Larson gone?
No,
Hey,
I don't know.
I don't know if you can
listen,
say
listen.
that, bro. You might have some bias.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. There's no way in God's green earth they're gonna get rid of Brie Larson. And the reason why I say that is this is because her story of the Marvel of being Marvel, tied to Marvel, is the whole Kree Skrull war. So there's absolutely no way
Let me ask you a
that
question.
they're going to offer.
Mr. Comic Book Man, question. Is their power level like rivals the Hulk's, correct? Their power levels are really, really high.
No, it wouldn't.
No. Captain Marvel's power level is high, but they're introducing characters.
Okay,
that
but
wait.
Now here's my point, right? In the comic book, sir, was there a time that she ever lost her powers?
Of course, because what they did. But that's a story that's coming. That's a story that's coming.
I needed your answer, and I believe that they're going to take her powers away. They're going to strip her powers for a moment. I believe that they're going to get rid of the Hulk. They're going to strip her powers for a moment so that way they can do some things that those two characters would inhibit them from doing, because they really, really took heat behind that whole Thanos thing. You know what I'm saying? A Hulk and an identity crisis. Because if the Hulk didn't have an identity crisis, he'd have mopped the floor with Thanos, even with the daggone Power Stone. It didn't matter.
But that's the comic book Hulk. You can't really. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's got to be in the MCU, there's got to be a clear line between comic book and MCU. To me, the reason they're not going to get rid of Brie Larson is she's too big in the box office. She's not going anywhere. Yes. You don't kill off the gold, like one of the marquee people. Iron Man, they killed him off after they milked him dry. They were like, all right, we got like 8 movies out of you. You've been great. You launched this thing. Now it's time for both of us to move on. We did it in a great way. Captain America, same thing.
Did you say marquee in the box office?
Dude, I'm telling you, she's a huge star. I don't really like Brie Larson. That's me personally. I think she's cool. Like, I'm not like, dang, I really want to go see a movie because of Brie Larson. But people really like her. Scarlett Johansson. We only saw a movie because of Black Widow because of her.
Who are those people that like Brie Larson? Now,
they're out there. I live in California. I see them.
But listen. You guys are missing the issue. And Mod, you're right, sort of. Max, you're sort of right, sort of. They can't kill off the Hulk because the Hulk's ties to Wolverine. They can't kill off Captain Marvel because her ties to Rogue. Rogue gets her powers from Captain Marvel. Rogue is an absorbent. So what she does is she touches people, and that's how she gets her powers. She holds on to Brie Larson too long, or Captain Marvel too long, and sucks her dry for real. Then she goes into a coma, and after coming out of the coma, she turns into this thing called binary, which eventually becomes a guardian of the galaxy that comes together to end the Kree Skrull War in the comic books. So you can't kill her off because she's too pivotal to a mutant, a major player mutant.
They take her off the table. They take her off the table, though.
Could they put her in a coma?
Yeah. Well, I actually think
yes.
I think Big G, they could follow that storyline if anything. If that's how you want it, if they make Rogue a player, because let's not include the original X-Men films where she was just like a sad character where it was like, oh, she can't touch people. But if they do that and then they dumb down her power after the coma and she's a Guardian of the Galaxy and she's kind of a supporting role, that would be pretty cool. Because we know the Guardians of the Galaxy, but that's going to be such a long time away. That's 3 years away. 2025 isn't around the corner.
Right.
I think we say long time, though, you guys. We say long time, but these years been flying by. You could say what you want.
There's 3 years away. How many movies do you think DC will cancel in the next 3 years?
All of them. Right. Listen, I mean, DC's gonna cancel them all. So
if they lose Henry Cavill, they need to cancel the whole thing. Cancel. Hey, like Tom Egan says, cancel Christmas. They need to go and cancel Christmas if they lose Henry Cavill. It's over with.
Yeah, but I'm telling you that there's certain characters in the MCU that they will not kill off because they're too. They're transitions. The Hulk is a transition to Wolverine. Rogue, its transition is Carol Danvers. There's pivotal. See, the interconnectivity of these characters from the comic book is too powerful. So yes, you got to have a way to put some folks on ice to stretch them out.
How they're doing this, and this is what Max has said. This is to Max's point. How they're doing it is not a kill off, right? I don't believe you're going to be able to actually kill the Hulk, but you're going to be able to neutralize him, send him to Planet Hulk or somewhere, so he's not around us, right?
Yeah.
They're going to be able to put Bree, down, take her powers, and that's a reason. It's the same thing with Iron Man. They did it with Iron Man. Iron Man is dead, but not really dead, because we're going to see him again, right? And then we got Riri Williams. You know what I'm saying? Then Captain America's dead, but not really dead, because we got, the Shield over here with Falcon. So, I mean, honestly, I hear what you're saying. I just feel like that they're going to transition the Hulk really fast, because it's one of those things that they have a whole bunch of stories to tell, and the Hulk would kind of mess that up.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you got to look at it like this. If we pulled 100 Marvel fans who watch the movies, how many of them are casual fans? Which there's nothing wrong with. I'd say 70%.
70%.
Yeah.
And then you got 30% diehard. So how many of the people really want to see a World War Hulk? We do, because we know the comic, we love it, it's amazing. But a lot of people don't know, and a lot of people don't really think the Hulk can carry anything by himself.
Right.
It's hard to make something where, hey, I'm the big green guy who has no brain. I'm just rage monster, and then
Correct.
I kind of have it. It's like CGI. It's I think I think there's going to be a lot of backlash about She-Hulk just about the CGI, which I don't really mind. But I watched it with my soon-to-be wife and my sister, and they're like, the CGI looks weird. I'm like, it's just because you're not used to it. But there's going to be backlash because of that. And I think the Hulk, he's not going to, I don't think Mark Ruffalo is going to be around in 3 years in Marvel for when the time they get Wolverine, because I don't think Hugh Jackman's Wolverine anymore. I think they need to start fresh.
Well, Max, I sort of agree with you, but I'm just saying, I think it's really pivotal. I think these characters now. So I got a theory. If y'all just bear with me for a couple of minutes, I'm going to explain my theory. I think so. We're talking about the timeline that's always been, right? And we know that this ultimate timeline was created by He Who Remains. And we know that there's been a Kang war going on this whole time, right? So Kang said in the Loki series, or He Who Remains said, I laid the path, all you did was walk down it. So everything up through phases 1 through 4 until he died, he did it all. So I think, and if you listen to his conversation that he was having with the 2 Loki variants, he was like, I'm tired. I've seen it all. I've done it all. I've did it all. I need somebody to take the helm. So I think his way of setting up this set of Avengers, because you got to remember, he laid the path. He let those Avengers be there. And I think his end game of it, to make sure that they take the other variants of the Kangs out, is to build bridge characters to be more powerful than the first set of Avengers. So that's why you're getting the Shang-Chi's and the She-Hulks and all whatever else. But he knows, in order to off probably the ultimate Kang is the one that just wants to kill them all, he's got to bring back those original set of Avengers, maybe bring the Young Avengers, maybe bring the Thunderbolts, maybe bring new Guardians of the Galaxy, including like Adam Warlock and stuff like that, into the fold, because it's going to be hard to off that Kang Prime. It's going to be hard to get him. And we know as of this point, he's one of the big bads.
This is my thing, and you guys can answer this, and I want Mott to give me his answer first. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is moving past the first 3 phases, right? Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Agree.
How
4.
do you think it kind of damages them moving on if they bring back the original core Avengers? Do they just kind of make it more about them? Will they steal the show from the next generation? Because there's certain characters I really love in this phase. Shang-Chi. I can't imagine I ever liking him more than Iron Man in the MCU. just because of what Iron Man meant, Captain America, all the originals. If they bring those characters back, and that's what I'm kind of doubting in Secret Wars. Is Secret Wars really going to have them? It'd be awesome, but is it just too soon? Is it too soon for these guys? Like, I wanted like a 10-year gap maybe before we saw them again, but maybe they'd be too old. So I don't know.
So here's how I feel about that. We go 3 more years, you still have
a lot of projects, like a lot more than ever before.
Right. So you could bring them back, and there will be the fans will be thirsty for that, right? They'll be, and you're only bringing them back for 2 movies, right? And maybe only just 1, you know. So you'll see those characters you know and loved during that time. I think, and Big G hit it on the head himself. I think we're about to lose Thor. You know what I'm saying? I think, you know, once this whole Hercules thing goes down, we're about to lose Thor for a moment in Valhalla, you know, as he transfers to Odin, you know. I think you're going to see a lot of this whole thing, and you're going to see points starts touching each other. So stuff will start kind of overlapping, and you'll see how this story affects this story, and this story affects this story, and this story affects this story. But to your question and to your point, diehards are gonna want to see these boys one more time, all together in one spot.
But are we ever going to be satisfied? Are we ever going to be like, dang, like now we can live without Iron Man?
We will, but I don't know if everybody else will.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't think, because in the comics, you never go without anybody, right? You never lose Iron Man truly. It's not like they're like, okay, we're not going to write Iron Man for 10 years. It's like, okay, we reset. It's a different Tony Stark, but it's still Iron Man. Like, when I fell in love with comics, I had the Spider-Man omnibus. It was like the first 50, right, of the original Spider-Man, like Stan Lee, 1960s. And then I was like, okay. And this is before smartphones, because I'm not that young. But like, then I got into Ultimate Spider-Man, and I was like, dang, this is a new Peter Parker. Like, this is my guy. I love Ultimate Spider-Man. So there's never really a gap. They have the Amazing Spider-Man, the Spectacular Spider-Man, all this other Spider-Man. I can't even think. Astonishing, whatever the case is.
But Max,
you never go without them in the
You're
comics.
not going to go without the characters because you have Ironheart. You're not going to go without the characters because you have She-Hulk. You're not going without.
But I'm saying there's no Tony Stark. There, like you can have him. That's fine. You can't replace Robert Downey Jr. You can't replace Steve Rogers.
But to this generation of kids, do you think that this is going to be their Tony Stark? This is going to be their Robert Downey Jr.?
I don't think anyone can be Robert Downey Jr. than Robert Downey Jr. There's only one LeBron. There's one Mike.
But the kids, though, they don't know the difference. I mean, they didn't jump on this train when we did. They're jumping on now.
Well, for the kids, no, but for the kids are like a small fraction of the fan base right now. It's all the people who were kids now. It's not like it's like in the 60s. Like your guy's Spider-Man is different than my Spider-Man.
Facts.
But you've always had one.
Yeah.
Correct.
There's never been without. There's never been a 10-year gap between it.
And see, that's the miracle of the comic books. And I think that's what Feige's trying to do as far as the movies. He's selling you on the character, not the actor. Because just in this beginning phase 4, he's flipped roles. Kate Bishop is Hawkeye. It ain't the guy who was before, right? She-Hulk is the new Hulk. It ain't the person before. Sam Wilson is Captain America. It ain't Steve Rogers. He's flipping characters on you on purpose because he's trying to show you the lineage. Now, the payoff, it will be Secret Wars. Because that's the whole reason why they chose Kang as one or the main big bad for this run. They chose so that way you can, at the end, you can bring them all back. But also, Kevin Feige's almost buying time. Because I'm telling y'all, once we get to phase 6, and we got these tie-in movies. I'm telling you right now, Storm's going to get her own project. Wolverine's going to get his own project. Cyclops going to get his own project. Iceman's going to get his own project. They're going to build the 6, 7, and 8 is going to be all about the X-Men. And then eventually you're going to go X-Men tying in with the Avengers. X-Men tying in with the Fantastic Four. X-Men, what they call the Uncanny Avengers, which is the X-Men and Avengers tying into one team that have to fight a big bad battle.
When
You're
does
going to get
Secret
that
Wars come out?
In 3 years,
2025.
right?
So the
Yeah,
X-Men could be there.
2025.
So how accurate to the comics do you think Secret Wars would be?
Super.
I think it'll be close to the 2015 version of Secret Wars. It won't be the one that I grew up with in the 90s, where you had the Beyonder and then you'll have Battle World, but it'll be Battle World controlled by what I believe Dr. Doom. It won't be controlled by the Beyonder. Doom is going to be behind Battle World with Secret Wars. And I think that's why Feige announced those two movies. One of them is called The Kang Dynasty. One of them is called Secret Wars. Who's the two big bads? Doom and Kang. I know that's why he did it, because Feige's a genius. So that they're going to build that to where you're going to have the Kang War, and then you're going to have the Doom War. But in the meantime, you're going to get, like that 2025, you're going to get X-Men stuff or mutant stuff. You'll get baseline mutants this whole run. Don't get me wrong. You're going to every show or every movie will have something about a mutant in it from now on. But the ones that the fans love, which we call the X-Men, which is Cyclops and Jean Grey and Wolverine and Beast, and they're going to get their own stuff because that's how he's going to build 25, 26, and 27. That he's not going to paint himself into a corner. And then ultimately you're going to tie them all back. But I do believe eventually you're going to get a hard reboot. There's going to be people get old, and you can't keep having the same actors. You've had subtle reboots for the characters, but eventually he's going to wipe the slate clean and start from scratch. He has to. But that's why he wants people to love the characters versus loving the actors, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense to me. Makes a lot of sense to me. And I think that kind of totally explains, the disappearance of everyone's favorite character. And I mean, it's for a brief moment. It's for a brief moment in time. So we talked about DC earlier, and we were talking about Aquaman. Aquaman made how much money, Big G?
$1.14 billion.
Okay.
The highest amount of money ever for a Warner Brothers film outside of Harry Potter.
Which is Max's favorite. But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Max walked around with a wand. He had a wand. He slept with the wand. He thought he was
under the pillow, like a G.
I get you. No, I'm just playing with you. So, hey, let me ask you this. Me and Max had a good one. Max was really, really good and supportive on this. We said how we would reboot DC, right? Give us yours. How would you reboot? How would you, out of this debacle that we got going on, Batgirl being canceled, Flash being canceled, they throwing away $180 million. And I mean, they're just hemorrhaging and they don't care.
So would you like lightly reset it, or would you take it out to the woodshed and put it down?
Yes.
Like an old wounded dog.
My opinion?
Yeah.
It's woodshed, baby. It's woodshed. And I got a solution. So I help the people at Warner Brothers is going to listen to what I'm saying, because I'm telling you, I got the solution. I know what to do. You have to go and open up your checkbook and go get Ryan Coogler from the MCU. If he wants $400 million, give him $400 million and give him more control of the DCU than Kevin Feige has of Marvel. And then tie the original first phase or whatever phase or story you want to have around John Stewart, the Green Lantern. Get an actor, a young African-American actor that's got the super chops like Robert Downey Jr. Now you're going to get Superman, you're going to get Batman, you're going to get Wonder Woman, you're going to get, and make that story about the Justice League cartoon versus the Justice League that they tried to bring out with Cyborg. Give them Martian Manhunter, give them Hulk Girl, give them Wonder Woman, give them Superman, give them Batman, and give them John Stewart. And make that story about him. And then when you get to past whatever phases 2 and 3, then you build the bridge out. But Ryan Coogler could pull it off. I'm telling you, I know he could pull it off.
So do you start with solo movies like a Green Lantern movie, Batman movie, and they're all kind of leaving cookie crumbs throughout, like, hey, the Justice League's going to come in? Is that how you do it?
Yes. The same way because see, in order for Warner Brothers to fix it, they got to get a person that thinks like Marvel. Well, there's only 2 sets of folks that know what Marvel knows outside of Feige. There might be other little small chess pieces, but I'm talking about the people up front. The Russo brothers and Ryan Coogler. Taika Waititi knows a little bit, but I'm telling you, the Russo brothers and Ryan Coogler know it all. Well, the Russo brothers ain't coming over. They got their own company, right? So the only other chess piece is Coogler. You got to make Coogler Feige in DC.
Well, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're all right. And how he does it is he makes this first. Listen, at the end of the day, the first character we saw was Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man in the MCU. The very first. When they closed out Phase 3, Endgame, he bit the dust. Now there was casualties and other stuff that happened all the through. So the story was about him. Even though folks love Captain America, even though folks love Guardians of the Galaxy, even though folks love Black Panther, folks love Thor, the story was about Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. He bit the bullet. So you got to have that same mindset. John Stewart, who is, by the way, a Green Lantern that's interchangeable. Because if you know the comics, there's the Green Lantern Corps. Earth has multiple Green Lanterns. So you make the story about John Stewart and like how they gonna fight this big bad and win this war, right? And at the end of the day, you kill him. And if you do that, you're gonna win. That's a hit. It's a proven hit. So I just think that's you got to go get Ryan Coogler. There's nobody else out there that you can get to take over. No, heck no, Zack Snyder can't do it.
I think it doesn't matter.
He got to go to the woodshed.
It doesn't matter who. It might not have to be Coogler, but it's got to be somebody with that vision. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what Sean's trying to say. It doesn't necessarily have to be Coogler. That's just the person Sean picked. But like we said, there's got to be one guy who's calling the shots. And you have to invest in actors, like we've talked about earlier, who are good people and don't do crazy stuff off film that ruins the movie. Yeah. And the last thing I would say is, and this is playing devil's advocate, is it dumb to copy Marvel? Or do you kind of want, is that really the best plan for DC, is to copy them? Absolutely. Or is it kind of better to do their own thing and just try to be a little different?
Absolutely. I don't think,
I think the copying is better too. I don't really see a plan for them.
Doing their own, they don't have their own thing. Yeah. So what if, you would have to be trying to create something from nothing. They don't have their own thing, right? So it's like taking and imitating what Marvel did instead of trying to do it. Because what they did this time was they were like, okay, we're going to do what Marvel did and we're going to do it instantly. You can't. You have to develop it over time, right?
But DC has one thing Marvel doesn't have. That's a successful villain movie.
Yes.
They have the Joker.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
But that's part of, if we go back to what I said, that's part of what I was saying, right? That's definitely part of what I was saying. You have to develop, and G, you weren't here. I said what we would do. What I would do is I would take I would create all of the characters you said and create the Justice League. But I would also create the Legion of Doom. I would make sure that I had me a great Lex Luthor. You know what I'm saying? Develop him. Yeah. We already have a decent Joker. We already have a decent Riddler. You know what I'm saying? You could bring in other people and have really, really good characters. It wouldn't even hurt to bring Bane in. You already had a successful Bane. So it's like one of those things to me. If you did that and you developed the villains just as much as you developed the heroes, then you have it. You'd have a successful formula.
Right, but see, the formula for Marvel is they didn't develop the bad guys. And there was bad guys in every movie, but they didn't put a lot of money, effort, time, and energy. This Kang, And this Doom is going to be the first time they putting all kind of bread in.
And Loki.
Right.
You could throw in Loki, but
Yeah,
they did that after he was already kind of in movies. You know what I mean?
Yes. So do you follow that pattern in DC? Now, of course, we know the DC villains are like off the hook. Because see, to me, the perfect villain for John Stewart's story is Grodd. You develop Lex Luthor, you develop other ones, but you better get you a Gorilla Grodd. A Gorilla Grodd who's super duper smart. Right? He's playing chess while y'all playing checkers. So I think that they could do it, but it would, like I said, it would have to be, it's got to be, you can't win unless you got one voice in the room. And that's the whole problem over at DC. That's the difference, really, to be honest, because, and I talked about this off screen, Max, with mine, like yesterday or day before. The issue is DC has more recognizable characters than Marvel does. Like if you just talk to the average atypical person,
well, I think
everybody
you
in their
say
mom
that
knows who Superman and Batman is. Everybody in their mom knows Superman and Batman.
I think you say that if you don't, I feel like that's the school of thinking before the MCU exploded, and it's everywhere now. Like maybe before there were superhero movies, you were like, yeah, they got Joker, they got Batman, they got Superman, Flash.
Right. Hold on, you guys. Let me adjust some comments. Elijah McNeil said, I wonder how they're going to handle Jubilee. Let's talk about that. I don't know that we even have Jubilee in this dispensation of the X-Men. I don't think you would put her in there because I mean their power. That's a whole other thing.
You'll see her in the X-Men cartoon. You'll see. I don't think you'll see her in the live action right away unless they like just port that over. Unless they're like, oh, this is the team. I always never understood why they didn't do the original X-Men team.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess it was Wolverine was just too big of a draw.
No, the issue was that they didn't own the properties. See, what folks don't forget is that Marvel, Stan Lee and them was broke. They went bankrupt. And so they had to sell off different renditions of characters a little bit at a time. So when they came back together and did the cartoon, they couldn't get in like Kitty Pryde because they had already sold her off. So that's why Jubilee replaced Kitty Pryde. And that's why they didn't really have the story focused on Iceman or so much Angel until like season 2 or season 3 of the X-Men 97, because they sold them off because other studios was going to try to make movies. But towards the end, they had generated enough money where they could bring them back. So Stan Lee and it was broke. That's what killed it. That's what killed the whole thing.
Yeah. Let me see. Bird Lozano said hot take on the Ryan Coogler thing. The hot take on that.
They would have to literally, and I don't want to give I don't want to give a figure, but it would have to be a truckload. Like he would have a Scrooge McDuck room in his house with all money DC paid him.
They would have to back up a Brinks truck. That would definitely have to back up.
I would say several.
Yeah, definitely.
But is it worth it though? Is it worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, no, it's only worth it if they empower him and they don't just say, I've never seen continuity problems like DC with like a franchise where it's like, oh, we don't even know who's playing Superman. We don't even know who's playing Batman. Right. It's like, what are you talking about? That's like after Iron Man 1, they were like, oh, let's recast Robert Downey. He was amazing. Let's get rid of him.
Right.
Sorry, Terrence Howard. We still love you. My War Machine.
It's hard out here. Hey, it is, Terrence. So, and then Elijah asked, was Infinity War a successful villain movie? And Bird kind of answered it and said it wasn't a villain movie, though. It was an Avengers movie. And the reason why it wasn't a successful villain movie is because we had the team up. And the focus was on the team up. Yeah, they lost to Thanos, but it was a build-up for them to win in the next movie. So it wasn't so much on Thanos. It was on the togetherness of the team.
Can I give like my parting shot that might be like 10 minutes because it's a pretty epic one?
Epic.
Because it ties to this. Exactly.
Let's get it.
So, Sean, what stones was Thanos looking for in Infinity War? He was looking for how many stones? 4? He had the Power Stone. We didn't see him get it off screen.
He had 2. He had 2 and he was looking for 4 more.
Okay. If Infinity War, the only stones he was looking for, let's say he had 4 at the start, and he was looking for
Okay.
Doctor Strange's Time Stone and Vision's Mind Stone. That's all he was looking for.
Okay.
Would it have been a perfect opportunity? And I know we didn't have Disney Plus. Would it have been a perfect opportunity between Endgame and Infinity War? So right in there, they had a Disney Plus show called Infinity Quest, and it was Thanos
Yes.
getting the rings. Would you have watched that show? Or would it have been like a good 2-hour movie in between them?
I would have watched it so much because it opens up the door to bring Adam Warlock into the story early, because Adam Warlock is the Infinity Stone. So you could have had the fight between Warlock and Thanos trying to fight to get the stones to be able to be the man. So absolutely, I would have watched it. Matter of fact, it might have been a greater movie than Infinity War and Endgame. It might have, in my opinion.
Mod, what do you think? I think I'd ask you this though. I can't remember.
I answered it. I totally would have watched it, and I think it would have been good. But you know, the one thing I can say that Marvel has been bad at is timing. They have been really bad at timing. I mean, certain movies they not put out at the right time, and it's like, you know, come on, bro. Like this one is a couple years behind. You know, I think
Black Widow.
yeah, Black Widow. I even think I think I may have enjoyed Brie a little more if I'd have got her earlier. If I'd have got Captain Marvel a little earlier, I may would have enjoyed that movie a lot more, and not, you know, it not been on one of the Marvel movies that I haven't watched at all. I haven't watched at all. So Max, are you finished with yours? Because I have one that's really big as well.
I do, but do you like Brie cheese? Like just the cheese, or you just anti-Brie in general?
You know, I mean, cheese is always good. It just doesn't need to be named Brie. I'm just saying it doesn't need to be named Brie. So with the worlds that we built out, you know what I'm saying? We built out Doctor Strange's world. We built out Black Panther, Wakanda. We built out Shang-Chi's world. What is your favorite world that we have explored to this point? Like, and I'm gonna ask Max what's his favorite world, and then I'm gonna ask Sean, is there one that you wanted to see more of? And I think I actually know your answer to that one already. Is there a world that was built out that you wanted to see more of? Because yeah, I'm not gonna give you an answer, but
I really wanted to see Hawkeye on the farm more. I really would have liked to know if he was growing like crops, like if he could drive. No, I don't. No, I would say my favorite world is Asgard. I really loved it, and the one I really like more time in there. I would have loved to see Odin more. I would have liked to see a few of the characters more. I really would have liked that, but I feel like we're gonna get that down the road with the other gods.
Yeah. Valhalla is on the way. Valhalla is on the way.
So, Sean, is there a world that you think that you wanted to see more of? A place that you wanted to see more of?
We can already see it. Wakanda forever. Listen, y'all. Wakanda is so pivotal to moving the needle for the Marvel story. It's unbelievable. Wakanda leads us to the Savage Land. Wakanda leads us to Atlantis, which they've changed the name of it to change the story of Submariner, so that way they don't lose copyright laws for Atlantis, right? Wakanda is tied to some space stuff, which you'll eventually see. Do you realize and know that that vibranium, when it's synthesized, becomes antimantium? Antimantium is what's inside of Wolverine. Wakanda also ties to Mr. Sinister, which ties to the High Evolutionary, which ties to Wendigo, right? So Wakanda, that's why I'm so glad. I mean, I'm hurt and I'm crying and I'm mad and upset still about the loss of Chadwick Boseman. That hurt, man. But the real deal about it is Coogler is a genius. He didn't make the story about the Panther. He made the story about Wakanda. It's called Wakanda Forever, because you're going to see in depth, just to start out, in depth, the City of the Dead and all the other stuff you're going to see. that they're gonna build this thing out like you ain't never seen before.
So to me, it would have been Mandrapur. It would have been Mandrapur. Elijah McNeil said, "I think DC should follow their own path that they laid in DC animated universe and how they built Batman, the animated series, Justice League, and Justice League Unlimited." Now, another thing you didn't hear me say, Elijah, but you probably would have heard it in the previous show, was I said if they would have went with, they have a gem right now that's an untouched jewel, and that's Batman Beyond. You know,
Correct.
It's untouched. They can bring that to the live screen and make money. And then get this, if they're so hell-bent on creating these movies in a vacuum, using Max's term, that's a movie you can create in a vacuum.
They love it. Like, that's their old thing. It's like we don't have anything connected. Maybe that's DC's plan. We don't connect stuff.
Connect to that. You could tell that story apart from itself, and it connects to nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, literally, the only thing you would bring in is the old Bruce Wayne. You would bring in
bring Keaton.
You could get 2 and possibly 3 movies out of that, because the climactic end would be you find out that Batman Beyond is actually a clone of Bruce Wayne that they created because they said that the world needs a Batman. So you could get 2, like where he doesn't know, and all of a sudden he's got these urges to want to do stuff, and then he links up with the old school Bruce Wayne, and he fights all these newer villains, which tied to the old villains. And then the finale is he finds out his mom was actually injected with clone material from Bruce Wayne to become Batman Beyond, because that's the story. The story is he is Bruce Wayne because the world can't exist without Batman. So yeah, that would be dope. That would be a one-off, maybe 1-off, 2-off, 3-off that would like sell in the box office. Because you could tie any Batman you wanted to it. You know, any rendition of Batman that you've seen so far on the big screen, it would blow it up. So yeah, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, DC, y'all should listen to us. We got some great ideas. All right, G, what's your parting shot, man?
My parting shot is, don't be critical about She-Hulk with the CGI, because I think it's going to be a lot better than what it is. But pay more attention to the groundwork of the character stories and what they're building out. They're actually building the Superhero Registration Act. And for you guys that know, the Superhero Registration Act ties directly to Secret Wars. They're actually building out the story. It actually tied to the original Thor Ragnarok, which is not what we saw. Ragnarok is an actual different name of Thor.
I'm sorry.
As a clone of Thor. So moving forward, watch the She-Hulk, the Superhero Registration Act. It's going to tie to the Thunderbolts. It's going to tie to all these new heroes. Because like I said, Wong's in it, the Abomination's in it, Frogman's in it, She-Hulk's in it, Hulk's in it, the Titania's in it, the Wrecking Crew's in it. That's 7. Daredevil's in it. That's 8. This is stuff we've seen in the trailers. How much more are we going to get? And I'm telling you, don't be shocked if you get a big-time character show up in this series. Because I'm almost convinced you're going to get a member of the Fantastic Four, or you're going to get a member of one of the spin-off mutant teams like the Alpha Flight or something like that.
They said the thing's in it.
Huge.
That's what they said. That's the rumor on the street.
I'm almost convinced, man. I'm almost convinced. So I'm telling you, the She-Hulk show is going to be boss. It's going to be boss, man. That's my shot.
I think so too, and I'd like to thank everybody who have been watching and commenting, and definitely I appreciate all of your comments today. Definitely, if you like the content that you're receiving, make sure that you like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube and Twitch, so that when we go live, you'll definitely get those notifications. For myself, for Max, and for Big G, we love you guys. We'll talk to you later. Peace. See you on Wednesday.